Hello and welcome to Sacred Transmissions with Iridessa Blossoms. I'm doing another video, just saying hi, hello. There's been a lot of stuff going on in my life. I'm a dance teacher, an aerial teacher, and I spent a lot of my time performing, being in front of crowds, traveling the world. And I had a very traumatic childhood, and dance has been a very monumental outlet for me to work through and heal my childhood trauma. And my mother was very controlling, and dance was always there for me as a way to express myself, because you had to be careful how you showed how you felt, and you had to hide things and act like everything was fine and perfect. And recently I went through this little healing session where I remembered my mom. When you're a little kid, you don't have a filter, you're just loud and proud, and the things that I love about children, they're so innocent and pure and vulnerable, and they don't hide things, and they're just authentically themselves. And so my mom, I'm going to show you right here, she would take the back of her hand and she'd smack you across the lip, and then I'd have a fat lip because she'd smack my lip into my teeth. And I just found out recently that because of that, I have been hiding who I am because I'm afraid what will happen if I express myself. So dance, I can move my body, I can get up there, I can show how I feel. I get to speak and express through my movement. And so talking's actually really kind of quite hard for me. I'm used to getting up. I know people are coming to see me. I've got my costume and my hair and my makeup, and I've practiced my dance I don't know how many times, but I don't have to talk, and so this is a vulnerable space for me. I have been teaching since I was 11. I started teaching dance when I was 11. It was because I watched, it was Good Vibrations by Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, I think, if I'm saying that correctly. There was a move on MTV, and I used to take 9 hours of dance when I was little, and we were trying to figure out what to do in choreography, and I shared my move from, hey, I saw this on Marky Mark and Funky Bunch, this is on their new video. And so I showed them, and then it ended up being in our dance. And so I've been teaching off and on since I was 11. I got my assumed business name, Creative Motion Dance, in 2008. And then I opened my own studio in 2018, Boise Aerial and Fitness. And it's different when I'm talking in front of my class or my students, and then you have the parents or people in the other room, and so now I'm a lot more used to talking in front of people. But this is vulnerable. And somebody who recently was taking an aerial silks and hoop class, an adult, I talked about having a podcast, and she's like, everybody and their dog has a podcast. Everybody has a house or a place that they live, and everybody has cars, and we all drive on roads, and we all go to the grocery store. We all have something to say, we all have something to share. And I lost my thought on why I brought up some of this stuff, but putting yourself out there is vulnerable. If I go to a performance, it's vulnerable, but whoever shows up and sees me, that's who sees me. And this is totally different because whoever clicks on YouTube and watches this, I'm outed. I'm putting myself out there. And it is kind of scary and vulnerable, and you know, I have a lot of knowledge and I like to talk a lot, but I'm by myself a lot, so I talk to myself a lot. So this is something different, and hopefully, you know, I can share some of my gifts and my talents and my abilities, and it can spark your gifts and your talents and your abilities. And, you know, my parents didn't choose me. You know, when you're a kid, your parents are supposed to choose you. My parents didn't choose me. They taught me how to choose them first, right? And so now I'm making decisions to choose me first, you know, in my middle age, and learning things from the patterns that they imprinted on me that I, you know, it's my responsibility to undo and to change and be different. And another thing is, you know, I'm trying to say, you know, is saying how I feel and not being punished or ridiculed, and what are going to be the repercussions for me saying how I feel. So that's choosing me is coming up this week for choosing me first, and it's come up a lot, expressing how I feel authentically in the moment with not worrying about what's going to happen to other people from how I feel, and am I going to be okay is like a safety thing. Am I okay? Am I okay? Am I ever going to be okay? Because I don't feel safe. So those are some things that I've struggled with in my human experience. I'm one of those who everybody's thinking it, nobody will talk about it, and I'm like, oh, let's talk about it. I want to talk about it because I'm thinking it and I'm having this whole huge conversation in my head about it. And is anybody else, or what would they say, or can we bring up the elephant in the room? Can we have the uncomfortable conversation that everybody else is avoiding, that I'm having such a conversation with myself about it that I'd like to like bounce it off of other people? So I've thought about writing a book. I kind of started writing putting my poems, like not poems, but affirmations and intentions for healings that I've had throughout the years together. Started working on oracle cards. And what I'm learning that I wasn't, you know, we're all a product of our environment, and I'm all about love. And every day I try to get closer to myself, to learn more about myself, become deeper of a best friend to myself. And every morning I wake up and just try to expand and love myself more than I've ever loved myself. So I'm learning about love language, and love comes in all kinds of shades. It isn't just black or white. There's lots of grays, you know, or all the different colors. I was just using that for an example. But love comes in many colors, but I've been taught that love is all about conditions. I'm going to love you if you do this. I'll love you if you do that. But I'm not going to love you if you are authentically you, because I don't like that. So it's like my parents, well, we love you and like you when you do this, but we don't love you and like you when you do that. So then it conditions you to only be the way that they want you to be so that they'll love you, and then you totally turn your back on yourself and betray who you are, and then don't love that part about yourself because they taught you not to love that about yourself. And then if you're like where I'm at in my life right now, I want to love every part of myself and be every part of myself that I was taught that was right or wrong or good or bad or favorable or unfavorable. So that's kind of where I'm at right now in my journey. I just wanted to share that. So try to make my videos shorter than they have been in the past with my rambling ons and such. Thanks for tuning in if you tuned in. As my friend Marie would say, this is the gospel according to Iridessa Blossoms, and dance has been my heart song that has helped me heal on my journey in this life. And I hope that everyone can find that for themselves to enrich their life and make it fuller and better. Thanks.